Alright guys, so today I'm going to try and cover a lot of information in one video, but maybe I think I might call this like keto correctly. So there's a lot of information, like I said, to try and get through. A lot of you guys are trying to understand keto or get like a keto blueprint, and your job is like, in your mind, you're trying to perfect it and be perfect. For example, like a lot of people ask me, like, what are my macros? And it's not that I'm not willing to share them, it's that my macros are going to be different from your macros. And there is only one of me in this life, and there is only one of you in this life. Now, I am built the way I'm built. I am short, I am stocky, I have more rounder face, rounder features. I have more hormone issues, so it's going to make me a little bit bigger, less lean. I'm always going to be more muscular, more big, and where I store fat is always going to be different. I store fat more upper body. I don't really have trouble with my legs or hips as much as I do like my stomach and like my chest area. And I actually will store in my face as well, or I can see the differences day in, day out by what my face even looks like for me. Now, that's not for everyone. Some people's faces are very thin and long and lean, and they don't store any fat in their face, but they'll store it in other parts of their body. So, first of all, when you're trying to lose weight, a lot of that depends on your body. I love losing weight in my stomach and my upper body, but that's the last thing that goes. That if I have a little bit of fat on my butt or even on my legs, then that will go first, and then I will start to lose next from my stomach and my chest. And that's just the way my genetics are. So you have to go by your genetics as well. So that's one thing. Now, a lot of you who are trying to count macros or anything like that, the reason why we've gotten that way is we've listened for so many years of people telling us the way we should or should not be eating, and this is good, this is bad. Well, labeling food like that, it stops you from eating the way you are. I especially remember one of the biggest reasons I think that got me off is that idea as a kid, it's to clean your plate. Well, as a kid, a lot of times there was just things we didn't know how to articulate to our parents, like, this doesn't make me feel good. Instead we, it's gross, I don't like that. And then our parents are like, excuse me, I cooked this, you're going to eat this. And therefore, a lot of times we were forced to eat things we didn't want to eat or didn't really feel good for our bodies. Not that that's all wrong. Like, if you want to be healthy, you should be eating fruits and vegetables and things as a child. But sometimes certain things that we don't know how to tell our parents, that if we don't like a certain vegetable, sometimes there are parents that will make you eat that. I know for me, my mom would always make me eat cooked carrots, and I hated cooked carrots, but I didn't know why. Now I know, because I've had hormone imbalance since I was a kid. I can see it. I would not drink juice like the other kids. I couldn't eat cereal for breakfast. I hated Pop-Tarts. I would not eat Lunchables. I preferred just home-cooked protein and vegetables, and I loved bread, but it didn't make me feel very good. And so I can see at a young age how I was really intuitive and in tune with my body, but over time, I learned how to shut those things off. It's just a lot of times we've denied those signals so many times that you don't know what your body even needs anymore, because you don't know how to hear those signals. It's the same with pain. I get a lot of clients all the time. They're like, oh, I'm fine. I don't really have any issues. And I'll get to work and I'm like, man, I was sore all over. Yeah, because you still have issues. You've gotten good at turning those pain signals off, but they're still there. You're like, oh, is that why I'm getting headaches? Yeah, your neck is super tight. That is exactly why you're getting headaches. Or sometimes it's even food related. So these are all things that need to be considered when you're trying to lose weight or doing things. That's why when I started this diet, and I don't even call it a diet, I just call it diet as in what I'm eating. This is my food. This is what I'm eating. I went about that in a way that I taught myself I don't want to follow rules anymore. And I don't. And that's why I happen to be keto and low carb, only because that's what my body has selected. Not because I want to, not because I think carbs are the devil, not because I think no one should ever eat carbs or that fruit is bad and sugar is bad. Although I do not think sugar is great, and I think limiting fruit is also important, I do not think that these things are evil. I think for some people, they don't work very well. I happen to be one of them. I know when I eat an apple, I'm going to get tired, and I'm going to want to binge and eat more sugar. And I know that that's not healthy and right for my body. I know that eating more protein makes me feel really good, and it gives me natural energy. I know that eating moderate fat, but if I eat too much fat, I feel sluggish or heartburny. But if I do a moderate amount and I feel good, I feel fine. I know that eating too many calories when I feel like overly full or gross, I know I've eaten too much. I know I feel comfortable when I realize I am no longer hungry, but no longer really feeling like I need to eat anymore. So I'm starting to learn how to make my body dictate how much and when I eat. I've learned I do better with higher volume. I feel full, I feel satisfied, I feel like my blood sugars are regulated. If I do too much of any one thing, like just eating a bunch of fat or just eating a bunch of protein or a bunch of vegetables in one sitting, I don't tend to feel very good. So I've learned to adapt to what my body is telling me. And it's hard to trust that and to know what's going on. And for a while I did gain weight because my body was like, finally, you're actually feeding me real food. You're not starving me. I need this. I need to heal my body for a little bit. And that can be a couple months long. And you can still even lose a little bit of weight in that. But you might even, stall out for a little while because your body's refiguring things out. But you know what's funny is my body has always figured it out, and then I'll finish dropping again. In the summer, when I'm working out more and playing a lot more volleyball with tournaments on the weekend, I need a little bit higher carb content. But I can tell when I'm getting too much and too little. Like having like a banana is too far. I've gone too much. I didn't need that much. But that doesn't mean having a little bit of sweet potato, not even a full sweet potato, maybe even just like a quarter of it. Having a little bit natural, slow carbs is better for me, that I feel like it perks me up just a little bit, but not too much. I can't overdo it, but I can do a little bit. But if I choose to do some berries or something like that, that might be just enough. So not going crazy, not getting a piece of bread, not eating a bagel, but having a little bit just to pick me up is just fine. So that works for me. Some people, you may not be able to do that at all. But the reason why I know this is, again, I have listened to what my body is telling me. If you don't feel right, it's for a reason. You have to learn to identify those signals. Now that I've learned more, like with the PCOS, it makes sense because I was like, I feel crampy. I feel like I'm missing something. And then I started adding in a little bit more potassium and magnesium. Lo and behold, things started to get better. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense now that I know I have PCOS, because you typically don't absorb magnesium and potassium as well. Or maybe some of you are dealing with constipation issues. I thought, as I've always been told, it's your fiber intake. And I'm like, but I eat a ton of fiber. How much fiber do you need? And it really had nothing to do with fiber. It depended on how much my water and my gut was maintaining, and it happened to be because I was lacking magnesium and potassium for my body. When I get those two things, oh my gosh, my bowels work like clockwork. Doesn't matter if I had more fat, more protein, more fiber. My body's just like, yep, I know what to do with this. I've got more water in your stool, and it's just, things just happen nice and easy without me trying. And that's the way you're supposed to learn and adapt to your body. And because we've changed so many things over the years, stripping the nutrition from things, you're not getting those extra minerals and vitamins that we used to get. And that's why we have more issues. And that's why I'm trying to teach you guys is to become more of the person that you are. I don't want you to become like me. I don't want you to copy the food that I'm eating. I don't need that. Some of you are not going to do as well with eggs as I do. Some of you are going to do better with something else. I also feel better if I do moderate amounts of red meat, but I still throw in lots of chicken. But I do better adding in the healthy fats, like adding in olive oil to that, and adding some olives or some sun-dried tomatoes or something in that nature to what I'm eating with my chicken than just to do red meat all the time. It just feels too heavy for me. But on the weekends or something, I know when I start to get towards that time of the month or I feel sluggish, my body will suddenly be like, I need red meat. Like that, just a steak. Steak sounds good. And I think that's just what pops my blood counts up. I feel good. I feel nice and perky. But doing too much, again, is just too much. Or here and then if I feel like I need to go on like this binge of like, I'm just feeling emotionally, I don't know if you women maybe experience this, like just this feeling of like I want to consume everything in the world, or I'm just craving fatty or carby things. If I that week then go through like a pound of bacon, my body's like, I'm fine, I'm happy. It's like it comatoses me, and it like calms my nerves down. I don't know what that is about, but it's better for me if I do that than to go eat the chips or to go eat the French fries or something else that my body's telling me it wants. But to overload on bacon a little bit is perfectly fine. And I mean, in a pound of bacon, that's maybe all I eat the entire day, really, for, you know, my food-wise and some vegetables and stuff. But sometimes you got to listen to those feelings. And yes, bacon might be the wrong way of going about that, but eventually I will figure it out. But it's better than the step I used to do by going and getting a burger and fries and consuming 2-3 extra 1,000 calories by eating burgers, fries, and ice cream. And then the next day I want pizza and all those things. And then feeling like I'm a failure and off my diet and all these different things. That I've realized that does not work for me anymore. That if I eat bacon, I still am losing weight. I'm still feeling good. I'm still eating more of what the foods my body's okay with. I might be overeating there. Well, I can tell you I probably am. But it's better. And that's why in this losing weight, I could calorie restrict. And I could do some particular things to lose weight very quickly. But it's nothing my body can do over the long haul. And that's why I'm not doing that. If I can maintain this over a long time of my life, then I will do it. And that's why I'm teaching myself to not eat so many sweets and things like that, but to stick to my good healthy proteins, good healthy fats, and good healthy vegetables, and I eat to my heart's content. You know, for breakfast, I do a lot of cauliflower in the morning. It feels good. I like a good heavy breakfast. For lunch, I love lighter lunches. I don't like heavy lunch. So chicken breast feels better to me. I like chicken, and I like to put dressing on my salad. So I like to do a healthy amount of oil and as many greens as I really feel like eating. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. And then for dinner, I might do a ton of asparagus, or I might do 6 spears and feel full. And that's when I want that red meat. It just feels like it satisfies me and puts me right to bed. So it just depends on you and your body, guys. So stop watching your macros all the time. I don't have a 20, 30, 60 or whatever it is. I don't care. That was set up because that's an average, or that's what worked for that person. It's an average of what works for most people. As a guy, you can actually get away with higher carb content. You can actually probably eat 50 grams of carbohydrate and still be fine. Maybe even 100 to 150. And some women, you can too. I've seen my friends who has that person at work or around you, and they're drinking soda and having sandwiches and bagels and coffees for breakfast, yet they weigh 120 pounds. And you're like, how are you doing that? And it's because their body can digest that stuff. Doesn't mean it's healthier, but their metabolism is digesting it, and they're doing okay with that. And that might work for them, and it may not work for you. I know I can't do that, but I also know that I am also healthier. I also know that I can handle a ton of protein, and I can eat a bunch of lettuce and things, and I have more strength and power and endurance than these people have, that they're kind of weak and fragile, and they can maybe handle a little bit more cardio or something than I can. So there's a difference for everyone, but you have to be willing to go through being wrong and maybe figuring it out on your own a little bit. Take that blueprint, but make it your own. That's the ideal to learning anything, is knowledge is only power when it's applied. Knowledge on its own is just knowledge. It's just knowing something that works for somebody out there in the universe. It worked one time, but until it's put into practice, it doesn't mean anything. So I hope this helps you guys. Like, comment below, and of course share.